And otherwise, those stupid scholars have men entering heaven for a council in the days of Job, which is utterly illiterate. Well, it's kind of hard to say an exact measurement is figurative, yet they do it because they're stupid scholars. That's why. They don't believe the Bible, and they never likely will. There's no debating them because they live in a different paradigm called the occult, not the Bible. They are steeped into the occult many times, and most Bible scholars are. They know the occult very well. They know the Bible very little. And that's kind of the word used if anyone could actually read Hebrew, but who knows? Most scholars seem like they can't, especially rabbis who are supposed to understand Hebrew, yet can't understand the word for giants used many times. Duh is all I can say. It just doesn't work there, Mr. Scholar. Try thinking through the ramifications of your scholarly positions, which are stupid, just a little. Why don't you? No one knows what an ell was before the flood. No one. No scholar does. Look it up. Go everywhere, and you will find no actual reference to an actual measurement. Doesn't exist. Not that we found anywhere, and I'm sure no scholar has either. However, this measure survives in other ways. See, we can determine this, just how tall and how strong were these giants. But when you have these two other books as a second and third witness, oh, wow. Well, why not just censor those and then act like you don't know what Genesis actually says? That's stupid scholarship, indeed. Wrong. That is utter stupidity, and that's science today, and it's not actual science. So imagine, though, mermaids and the like perhaps were real. Now, what makes modern church think the earth does not make accusation against it for practicing and teaching lawlessness? It's the same doctrine of the Nephilim, and yet that is standard church doctrine today. Lawlessness is what? Well, according to James, that is the very definition of the word sin. Sin is lawlessness. They're teaching sin. And the earth makes accusation against those that do that understand. I mean, they completely throw out most of the Bible, even New Testament law, and claim we are to be lawless. We have no law. We don't need law. We have liberty. Yeah, that's the ancient goddess that sits in the harbor there in New York City. Yeah, the goddess of liberty. Yeah, she's also the goddess of fertility, free sex, and she is a disgusting harlot. That's what she is. Yet, they put her there in, massive presence, there's no doubt, because that is their god, or goddess, one of them. They serve many occult gods and goddesses. So, basically, the definition of sin, they literally teach sin. And what happens when they do? The earth makes accusation against them. This is huge. Yes, they were angels. Indisputably, there's nothing to discuss on that. And any scholar that tries to argue it is stupid. They're just not able to read, period. Why does it keep saying giants? They can't be giants, could they? I mean, that's what scholars say, many. Yet, again, they have no clue what they're talking about. This is the exact same narrative, and really there's no separating them. There's no other way to read this. When you have three witnesses of the same passage, duh, scholars, just read. First Enoch and Jubilees are second and third witness to Genesis, and it is incredible how many scholars don't even question why Genesis doesn't seem to have a witness in their modern Pharisee canon of willing ignorance. One would think they would consider this, but, again, as Peter warned, they are willingly ignorant of these facts. That's what happens when they censor Scripture. They cause other problems. They just sweep those under the carpet, of course. We won't. The thing is, those problems don't even actually exist. They created them in their censorship. If they just restored the Bible canon of the temple priests, who are the only biblical keepers of Scripture, even when they found their library in Qumran, what did they do? They immediately began to dismiss and attack and marginalize and explain it away in the most alliterative positions imaginable, such as, oh, they were Essenes. Oh, you mean a word never mentioned in all of Scripture, a word never mentioned in any of the Dead Sea Scroll writings, and there are tons. But they actually identify themselves as the son of Zadok, the sons of Aaron, the sons of Levi, the temple priests that were exiled there by the Pharisees and Hasmoneans. These aren't scholars, folks. They are the dumbest people in history because they can't even read simple sentences. They'll translate them, and then they can't seem to understand the English that they translated. That's pretty bad. It's called willing ignorance. So basically, they are proving themselves to be liars. That's it. And we cannot trust anything they say as a result. Yeah, duh. I mean, again, when you can't read in context, that's a major, major problem for many scholars. They really are so jaded, they have no clue. So, yes, especially Jewish scholars, Rabbinic Judaism, does try to actually state, oh no, they weren't actually giants, except for the word giants is there, even in Hebrew, you'll see, because they can't read. They don't want to. They don't want to believe this. They want to propagate an occult position, which is what they represent. And drink the blood. Vampires? What? Hate, hate, hate.